Creating art and music are among the most intellectually demanding activities that a human can engage in. The demand that creative efforts place on your cognition have manifold implications for the lifestyles of artists. People tend to have a highly romanticized view of artists and musicians that we're savants or troubled or any other harmful stereotype that you could care to imagine. But the reality is, in order to successfully be creative, you need to take care of yourself. Of course, artists do endure suffering just like any human being does, but to make art, it requires skills, and in order to develop skills, you need a healthy body and mind. I'm not going to spend too much time going into detail about the science behind all of this. Some of this should be pretty much common sense, but sometimes we forget about things that seem obvious, and so I just want to give you some examples of things that can be beneficial to your lifestyle as a creative person. Sobriety is really important. Avoiding intoxicants. A lot of people have this weird idea that if you take substances that suddenly it's mysteriously and magically going to make you a good artist, and that's just not how that works. If anything, a lot of those are extremely harmful to your ability to create. And a good example would be like Alex Grey. His art is very obviously influenced by chemically induced altered states of consciousness. And that's not what made him a good artist, though. He's a good artist because he has an extremely intimate knowledge of anatomy, of color theory, of perspective, of composition, and those skills are what make his art good, and not the use of intoxicants. Restful sleep is extremely important. In order to make art, you have to concentrate. It's a lot harder to concentrate if you're exhausted because you haven't slept properly, so practicing good sleep hygiene is really important. Time management is also really important. That means having time to pursue your creative endeavors and to develop skills, but also not forcing yourself to grind and hustle so much that you are burning yourself out, because in the long term it's going to be less productive for you. So it's important to have a good sense of balance, take time to develop skills, to make art, but also take time for yourself to just relax, because it's really unsustainable to do anything without giving yourself a little bit of time. Avoiding social media is also really important. It seems like that's against my interest to tell you that, but it happens to be the case that social media can be very harmful, and it can be very harmful to creative processes for a lot of reasons. I mean, there's just, the effect of your brain's reward system, but also you might compare yourself to other artists that you see on the internet and things like that. And, those things are okay in small doses, but, don't let it take up too much of your time, because it's actively turning your brain into a viscous jelly. Even more important than avoiding social media is avoiding AI. Do not ever use AI anytime at all, ever, for anything. AI results in a process called cognitive offloading. In other words, you are having a machine think for you instead of using your own brain, and the implications of that are horrifying. Do not ever use AI. Stay away from AI. Don't even think about AI. Forget AI exists. Try to pretend like it's not happening. So those are some of my suggestions. I would say definitely just practice self-care. It's very important as an artist, because you have to be firing on all cylinders to create and to develop skills in a consistent manner. And if that involves prayer and meditation, I would suggest you do that as well. But yeah, that's basically it. It's just, maybe it seems obvious, but in case you forgot, it's very, very difficult to make art sometimes, and you need to concentrate. And in order to concentrate, you have to be well rested. You have to take good care of yourself. So please take good care of yourself and go create something.